afternoon or good morning if you're joining us from the US, other close parts of the world. We're just going to give it a few seconds just to let people dial in, but welcome and thank you for coming. Um, as you've seen on the Teams user interface, we're recording the webinar, so we can post a copy of it to the BIA YouTube channel, so colleagues who can't make the webinar can benefit from the presentations and the speakers, as well as the Q&A, which will also be recording. Fantastic to see so many already joined. As a reminder, there'll be a Q&A at the end. Our plan is that we'll let people ask questions verbally at the end, but for now, colleagues are muted. But the chat is available for written questions, as well as if colleagues want to share things in the chat related to the conference. Right. I'm going to take 51 as quorum. So firstly, thank you for coming and thank you for attending this webinar. This is a really new and exciting experience for us at the ABPI. It's the first time that we're really engaging with BIO. We're thrilled to be joined by colleagues from the Department for Business and Trade, from BioPartner UK, and our good friends at the Bio Industry Association. Just as a quick piece of housekeeping, as with any ABPI meeting, please do give consideration to competition law and confidentiality at all times. There really shouldn't be any reason why we touch on any kind of topic related to competition law. But if you have any concerns that the conversation either on the webinar or in the chat might be approaching any topics related to competition law, or you fear that there's potentially been a breach, please do raise that with myself, Zeph, or any of the other ABPI staff. Will get that looked into immediately. We've got a jam-packed agenda today. We'll kick off with opening remarks from the ABPI Chief Executive Richard Talbot and the BIA Chief Executive Steve Bates, who is an old hand and a veteran of BIO conventions past. We'll then pass over to the team, Department of Business and Trade, and delighted to be joined by Adriana and Rafaela, who will give their perspectives on navigating Boston, which is a delightful city, and what's expected at the UK Pavilion and the programme events. And we'll pass over to Lynn Bateson at BioPartner to give her perspective on who's going and what to look out for at Bio. And then, as I said, we'll close with a Q&A, making the rest of the time for you to answer any questions. So without further ado, I'm delighted to pass over to ABPI's Chief Executive, Dr. Richard Talbot.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Ollie. So a few short words from me. Thank you very much indeed to everyone for joining. Fantastic to see so many of you on the line. As Ollie said, this is the first time as ABPI that we're engaging in BIO, and we're really delighted to be one of the sponsors alongside BIA for the UK's pavilion this year. We, as an organisation, exist to try and make the UK the best place in the world to research, develop, manufacture, and ultimately adopt new medicines and vaccines. And a core part of our role is to try and help shape the policy environment domestically here to ensure that companies have an environment in which they can grow their businesses. And increasingly, we're seeing a lot more appetite for early dialogue with innovators around how best to get into the market and how best to ultimately market medicines into the National Health Service here. So lots to talk about. Fascinating time to be involved in these conversations. Lots of geopolitical headwinds that we're all encountering. So it couldn't be a better time to showcase some of the unique capabilities and benefits of the UK operating on a global stage. We'll be around the UK Pavilion all week. So if you don't know the ABPI already, please take the time to introduce us yourselves. I literally now have a speaking note that says hand over to Steve Bates, who is a veteran of BIOS conventions. And if you know Steve, you'll know he's a veteran of many things. It's always a great pleasure to hand over to him. Steve.
Richard, great to be with you, and thank you, ABPI, for organising this. We look forward to sharing on our website. Yes, I have been to BIO, I think, for over 15 years, which is should give me some sort of early release clause, I'd hope, these days. But it's if you've never been before, what we try and do through this is bring together this webinar is bring together the UK gang that are going, so that you can see if you're going for the first time, you're not alone. Do please ask questions about anything, logistics, practicalities, messaging, how it works. We are here to help and share our experience for that. It says to me on my note, Richard, it says suggest a brief positive anecdote about past experience of attending BIO, I think I would say one word: it's big. If you've been to any conferences, the cars are bigger. The partnering booths the booths themselves aren't bigger, but there's more people at them. And I think the key thing I would say is you've got to have a plan as to what you want to get out of it before you go, because there's far too much to do than you can actually get your time out that's there. So everything's in the planning, but there are a lot of people there, and out of a packed few days, you can really move your business forward. The one thing that we are going to do, and I hope everybody from Britain is going to do and do it at BIO, is we are going to use the opportunity to launch London Life Science Week. London Life Science Week is the week of 16th of November to 21st of November. It's a week when the world comes to the UK, largely around the Jefferies Healthcare Conference, but there's a whole host of events going on. So the one thing we're going to do is say to everybody, well, if you're interested, do come back through to the UK, meet everybody in our scene at home, at our home fixture in London Life Science Week. So I'll be plugging that, and we'll use the drinks on the stand on the Tuesday afternoon to launch that initiative, and you'll see lots more of it around it from us as we go forward. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Adriana, who's our first speaker.
Thanks very much, Steve. And I am going to share slides now. Second, apologies. Perfect. So hi everyone, my name is Adriana Gomez. I'm a Senior Trade and Investment Officer for North America DBT based at the Boston British Consulate, and I'll be chatting to you today about navigating the US and Boston life sciences ecosystem. So to give a bit of a background about DBT, we help UK businesses navigate the opportunities and challenges of entering foreign markets, in this case, the US. And we are a no-cost service for UK companies, and we help provide introductions to buyers, support with events and engagements around trade shows, and helping identify and troubleshoot market access barriers. What I would like to note is that in many instances, investment in relationship building and market education are very important before a commercial win is realistic, and we're able to help connect you with local government in the US, patient advocacy groups, or key stakeholders like regulatory consultants who can help chat about entry into the FDA, law firms that can help assess the viability of your company and ensure that there's a market fit in the US. And here's the great.gov website. This provides some export courses and training, and they can also match you with an ITA. The North America team works very closely with the ITAs, and we ensure that, again, we can help with those market access barriers and facilitate key connections that are vital to your launch in the US. This is DBT across North America. So we have healthcare and life sciences specialists located in markets across the US and Canada. This helps build those relationships. And we have life sciences and healthcare teams in the Boston Consulate, New York, DC, San Francisco, Toronto, Montreal, Chicago, and Houston. If you reach out to a contact, but you'd like to be connected to a different local market, we work very closely across North America and would be happy to refer you to another team member at a different consulate. And on this slide, you can see that these are some of our in-market connections. This is New England specific, but we're connected with a variety of the different local state trade associations, as well as the Department of Commerce, and some different innovation hubs, which we'd be more than happy to help connect you with. And before I jump into giving you a flavor of the local hospital systems and companies in the Boston ecosystem, I thought it'd be useful to have a quick chat about healthcare in the US. So most Americans receive employer-based insurance as there's no universal health insurance system. So public insurance is Medicare, and people over 65 years old that are disabled or have ESRD are eligible for this. Medicaid is for low-income individuals. Children's Health Insurance Program is for children in low-income families, and then the TRICARE / the VA is for active military or veterans. And then private insurance, there's hundreds in the US. This ranges from small local payers to national payers. And then reimbursement, this is an umbrella term that consists of coverage, coding, and payment. So coverage range in extent of services and products the insurer will pay. This differs between Medicare, Medicaid, and some of those individual commercial payers. In the Boston ecosystem, we have national payers like Aetna, Cigna, and United Healthcare, but we also have local payers that are often tied to hospital systems like Mass General Brigham Health, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, and Tufts. And then on coding, these are services, procedures, and products given to patients by physicians and institutions. Examples are CPT and HCPS codes, which I'll get into a bit later on. And then payment, this is the process which payments are made by an insurer for a covered service. Private payers set their own rates, but they often do benchmark against Medicare rates. And CPT codes, this describes physician procedures and is maintained by the AMA. This reports on medical, surgical, and diagnostic services. And then HCPS codes is for drugs, devices, and diagnostic medical equipment and services that are not included in the CPT. This is maintained by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. If you'd like a bit more information about how reimbursement works, we have a fleet of regulatory consultants that we work with who'd be more than happy to chat with you a bit further in detail about this. This slide is on large hospital systems in Boston. So Mass General Brigham, this is comprised of Mass General Hospital and Brigham and Women's. They provide clinical care through 2 academic hospitals, 3 specialty hospitals, 7 community hospitals, and have home care services and the health insurance plan. Beth Israel Lahey Health, this was formed in 2019 through a merger of Beth Israel Deaconess and Lahey Hospital. It's the largest health system in Massachusetts by hospital count, 14 acute care hospitals and over 100 locations in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Boston Medical Center, they're an academic medical center located in Boston's South End. They were the primary teaching affiliate for Boston University School of Medicine, and they're also the largest safety net hospital in New England. Safety net hospitals are hospitals that provide care to patients with Medicare and Medicaid, but also those that are uninsured. And BMC provides pediatric and adult care services, teaching, research. They have community health centers, and they also have insurance. Boston Children's Hospital is a nationally ranked pediatric hospital, home to the world's largest pediatric research enterprise, and they're the leading recipient of pediatric research funding from the NIH, and they are the primary pediatric teaching affiliate of Harvard Medical School. Dana-Farber Cancer Institute is a top-ranked cancer center. They're known for their blend of clinical excellence and innovative research. They're the primary teaching affiliate of Harvard Medical School, and they're involved in over 1,200 clinical trials annually. And some other large hospital systems in the New England region that are not listed on this slide are Tufts Medical Center, UMass Memorial Health, Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center based up in New Hampshire, University of Vermont Medical Center, Yale New Haven based down in Connecticut, and Bay State Medical Center. And I have borrowed this map from Biospace, but this is reflective of the cell and gene therapy strengths within the Boston and Cambridge ecosystem. You can see that there are several Boston HQ'd companies like Moderna, Obsidian, Editas, but then there's also quite a few European headquartered companies that have presence in Boston, like Merck, Novo. So almost every large European biopharma has a presence in the Boston ecosystem. And in addition, there are also Harvard and MIT and Boston University that contribute to making this such a vibrant global life sciences ecosystem. Potential pathways to market entry. So forming a US entity, DBT can help connect you with lawyers, accountants, and other professional services. We have somewhat of a Rolodex of really trusted clients that we're more than happy to provide a warm introduction to. addition to setting up a US office, we often encourage UK companies to consider joining a co-working space like CIC. This can help provide a built-in network, and also you can have a mail address tagged to the Boston area. Partnering with a US company or entering via acquisition, we oftentimes help provide introductions to large biopharma companies to prospective UK clients looking to establish themselves in the US. And then lastly, joining an innovation hub is a great option for early stage companies. We have connections to several of the startup incubators in the area. And lastly, DBT partners. So we work very closely with the devolved governments and regions. We actually have Scottish Development International based in our office, but we also collaborate closely with Welsh Government and Invest Northern Ireland. And then I've listed some of the UK organizations. I assume you're familiar with some of them, but we often repost different opportunities on our LinkedIn through trade missions or exhibiting on UK pavilions at trade shows. And I'd encourage you to follow DBT team members on LinkedIn to be aware of these opportunities that occur throughout the year. And thank you. I've listed my contact information, and I will hand it over now to Rafaela. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Good, I think we've got slides. Excellent. So Rafaela Harvey, very nice to meet you all. I am the Deputy Head for the Biopharmaceutical team in the Department of Business and Trade based in London. Just wanted to say thanks to Adriana for her presentation, and just to give you a sense that there are many colleagues based internationally as per Adriana with her level of expertise. So whilst bio is very US focused, it is also about half of the delegation is international. So just to highlight the kind of expertise that we have across the team internationally. In my role in London, I work with colleagues internationally alongside with Adriana. So I have the pleasure of leading on our participation to BIO for this year as well. It is my first time going to Boston, but I think I'm not quite as as senior in my experience as Steve. But I think my first BIO was the little sister in Europe in Madrid in 2008, where I kind of kicked off my my career in the life science industry. So some experience there. So I wanted to give you an overview of who's actually participating from the Department of Business and Trade. So you've met Adriana, of course, but from the UK team on the UK Pavilion in terms of our activities, you'll have Hilary Glidden, who's my manager and the global head of the life sciences team, who's coming out, myself and our colleague Steve from Scotland, who oversees the Scottish life science sector, working alongside with the Scottish government, of course, who themselves are partners on the UK Pavilion. In terms of our colleagues from the US, Adriana has shown you kind of the map where we have trade officers and investment officers. So the ones that are coming to BIO, so Lewis heads up the North America Life Sciences team. Adriana, Matt is Adriana's counterpart for New England. Over in Toronto, representing the Canadian market, Hema Patel will be joining as well as Melissa from New York. So a strong representation from sort of the mid to east coast, as well as Canada. And then Jack Conway, who is responsible for the kind of investor relations side of things and will be leading on some activities for venture capital. And Karen Conroe, who is supporting on all things marketing, which is very important to get your visibility at such a busy event. But besides ourselves, of course, there are other senior UK government representatives that will be at BIO. Some of them are on the UK Pavilion, others are not. But of course, we are the home to the UK, and we'll be having activities to gather you. So just wanted to make a mention of the NIHR, who can support with clinical research, of course, UK Health Security Agency, and the Cell and Gene Therapy Catapult. All three of them will be on the UK Pavilion throughout the convention, having a pod. And then there's also the Medicines Discovery Catapult, and many more, of course, representatives. In terms of the most senior representative from the UK government, we are hoping to have a minister come to BIO, but as we all know, these things can be to a certain extent unpredictable, but we will have more news on that in time to come. So that's sort of who's out there. So where to find us all. This is a very small version of the exhibitor's show floor. We are in Hall A, which is on the right side of your screen. Just clicking through here, you can see this sort of L-shaped stand 765 is where the UK Pavilion will be, alongside our partners, Northern Ireland and Scottish Government, as well as 22 UK organisations who will be on the pavilion. The ABPI, we're very happy that they will be on the stand as well, of course, as our key partner and sponsor, and also very much on the reception desk. So a great opportunity to be engaging with them directly as well. And then just across from us is the Welsh Government. So we occupy quite a significant space between Welsh Government and the rest of the UK Pavilion. What does that all look like? So this is just a preview of the UK Pavilion. I think the easiest way to find us is obviously that big red banner with the Union Jack and our great brand. So hopefully you won't miss us and won't have any trouble to find us. And this gives you a bit of a sense of our presence from a branding perspective. This has been mentioned by Adriana. This is more just globally as well. Of course, these are our key partners. So I will move on from this slide. I have mentioned that there are 22 UK organisations that are going to be having their own pods. This has come from a highly selective process this year. So if some of you on the line submitted an application earlier this year and were not successful, of course, we are sorry, but as per Adriana's presentation, we hope that you see that there is plenty of support that can be had either during BIO or, of course, after BIO. Very competitive year. Actually, it was the most competitive year in terms of the applications. So we're really delighted to have you on board. These 22 companies really represent the full breadth and depth of the sector, from drug discovery, clinical research services, manufacturing, highly specialized manufacturing. Really a very strong representation. So thank you very much for being there to support how we represent the UK on the international scene. So in terms of our activities, this is our program at the moment. This is continuing to evolve, of course, with potential additional senior stakeholders joining, as well as many of our partners and stakeholders in the UK having their own networking receptions. My experience of BIO is really difficult to choose which networking reception to go to, but hopefully you will see benefit in choosing these ones. So just to run through these. So on the Monday, which is when the BIO starts, the kickoff at BIO is actually at 12 p.m. There is a venture capital reception that our colleague Jack Conway is leading on, which will be taking place offsite at the Consul General's residence. And this will be an opportunity for about 30 or so highly innovative UK SMEs who are fundraising to meet with our very developed network of VCs and investors. This is a breakfast activity taking place before the start of the convention, and something that we have done before with much success. In terms of the Monday night, once the convention has actually started, we have our flagship reception. This is taking place off-site as well, with thanks to a sponsor, Wolf Greenfield, excuse me, where they will be hosting on their rooftop the flagship reception. This is very much the kind of most senior networking reception that we hold every year, where you will have the opportunity to meet with a strong international network of our UK government and partners. On the Tuesday itself, we will have a series of events, starting with a super session, which has been held for UK Minister, alongside other international counterparts of the Minister, to discuss the national perspectives on innovation in the current context. Rooms for this are of course still to be confirmed by the bioprogramming team. Later on that day at 4:30, there is another opportunity to hear from somewhat less senior government official, myself perhaps, at the Global Innovation Hub presentations, where we will be discussing really what is the UK's strengths, what is the latest policies that make the UK world-class in terms of our sector, and also, of course, the industrial strategy, where the UK has been selected as one of the growth sectors and priority sectors. Finally, on the Tuesday, 17th of June, as mentioned by Steve earlier, the BIA, MedCity and London and Partners are coming together as the sponsors and the organisers of the London Life Sciences Week in November, and will utilise this opportunity and platform to really celebrate, all that the UK and London has to offer. So thank you, Alina, for the link there. And so this is a fantastic opportunity to come in an informal setting and hear all about the plans for the London Life Sciences Week. There are other activities, as I've mentioned, including from One Nucleus on the Sunday, as well as on the Monday morning as well. And many of our other partners are really, I think this week and next week is the big week for invitations and e-invites and things to start going out. So if you've joined this call, that means you're automatically going to be notified, and we will be letting you know of the program. So how to get involved? I think at this point in time, let us know, of course. If you know of other companies, let them know about us. Visit us, of course. But I would say more importantly, and I'm sure this is true for the ABPI, who will be on stand with us, as well as any other exhibitor, I think it really is best if you can book an appointment with us through the partnering platform, because this ensures that you're meeting the right person from the team. As you've seen from ourselves, we've got a team spread across US and HQ persons like myself. And, depending on your interests and the stage of your company and such, I think that's really the best way to ensure a good participation. So that's on the partnering platform. For those of you that are co-exhibitors of us, please reach out to Fraser, who is also on this call. Fraser, if you want to put on your camera, if it's not on already, or just give a wave. Oh, you can't access your micro camera. That's fine. I've got a picture of you there. Fraser is my co-event lead from the event agency that many of you will have been in touch with, and he will also be there throughout the convention. So please do reach out to him for all matters for event logistics. Finally, and this is really just a few points because Lynn is going to talk in much greater detail about sort of practical tips for the BIO convention. But in terms of what you can do ahead of BIO, there is a social media toolkit that BIO have. So please just look that up on their website. Always good to put that up on your social media accounts for your corporate accounts. It goes without saying, please do tag us, whether that's individuals or our corporate accounts. Whilst we are not necessarily going to be able to repost and amplify all messages, of course, by the sheer fact of tagging each other, this amplifies amongst our own network. So this is a fantastic way. And those of you who were at BIO last year will know that we had our hands tied. It was pre-election period, and our social media campaign and plans and comms were very much muted. So we're very much looking forward to having a bit of a revenge on last year's situation. And then there are the corporate accounts here that I've mentioned. Our activity is being led by the US, which has a strong following in terms of those accounts. So please do follow them already so that you can be made aware of the social media activity that's going to be taking place. And that's myself. So thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you at BIO, and I'll hand over to Lynn.
Thank you, Raffaella. It's really good to hear that you're going to have the flags out this year. Really nice. So, can you see my PDF? Great. Just to give you a run through as to who BioPartner is, if you haven't heard of us, we assist UK companies to do business overseas at the lowest possible cost. If we can. We do this by organising several European delegations each year, and we work with event organisers to offer discounted passes for those that want to go individually. And we also support our partners' international activity, such as the Biotech Week Boston and, of course, this BIO convention. So the BIO convention, as Steve has said, is huge. There are several official receptions and a multitude of side events, and we'll be trying to list those on our platform, on our online directory as we get to hear about them. The web link is bio25.biopartner.co.uk, which will provide you the links that you need. I've also popped those into the chat at the beginning of this session. So BIO has a one-to-one partnering system, and we personally only ever get asked for tickets that include that partnering, which proves that it's the main focus for most attendees. They're not there to just, wander about. They're there to do some serious business in the partnering sessions. And when both partners have full access passes, the meetings take place in what they call the business forum. The system's the same, but the meetings with the exhibitors, such as on the UK Pavilion, will take place on their stands and on their pods, and are only scheduled during the hours when the exhibit hall is open. So that's the only limitation. BIO's developed a new system this year. It was about time. It was well needed. We'll be very glad to hear your feedback about it when you return from Boston this year, to see whether they've made some vast improvements. And regarding getting the best out of BIO while you're there, most of you on the call won't be first timers, and you can probably tell me a few things about getting the best out of the partnering. But for the newbies, our advice, as for all partnering systems, is to start off with a good profile. And don't put in too much detail. Make sure that you use the fields provided, and make it snappy if you can. Researching your potential partners will definitely pay off. Don't waste time on a scattergun approach and sending a generic message to people. They will see through that. And if you put just a little bit of a personal touch in, then they'll see that you've given it some thought. If you're not getting a good response rate, then bear in mind that it's not that you're not of interest to them. It could be that they're relying on colleagues to manage their meetings. It could be that they're just very busy. So it's not rude to nudge them. We've canvassed people about this, pharma companies and investors. Do they get offended? Do they get niggled if you send them a few messages, if you approach them on LinkedIn and various other platforms? No, actually, they expect you to. They expect you to put the work in, and they expect to be contacted in several ways. Always make sure that you give them your contact information so that if you don't get that one-to-one meeting, then they can get in touch with you afterwards, or tell them that you're going to be at such and such a party and you hope to bump into them. And when you're in the meeting itself, treat it as a touch point. Don't expect too much. You'd be very lucky if you get the deal on the day. You should be aiming to meet again and possibly to walk away if it's not a good fit. It's very exploratory. Tools, we've been told a toothbrush and a toothpaste is a really good thing to take. Hand cream, just the opportunity to refresh for a few minutes if you can duck out of your schedule. Band-aids, flat shoes, ibuprofen, fruit lozenges, because you will be doing a lot of talking. All of these have been recommended, so have a little bag or something with these things. A suggestion in a recent webinar was to get yourself a base by renting an apartment. Now, that's really nice if you've got the means to do so, isn't it? So don't run out of business cards. One of the links that I've provided in the chat is a scanning app and digital card managed by a company called Covey. They've got a really good scanning app for business cards, and as they're a preferred supplier, we can offer 20% to anybody that uses the link that's on our website on their products, although they do have an introductory free kind of platform that you can use. And I skipped that slide, sorry. Finally, this is a snapshot of 40 events we've got on our website currently with discounts. There's so much going on in the UK this summer, including the BIA summer party. And we've mentioned the London Life Science Week at the bottom there, although it's in the autumn, it's really important. I'm really looking forward to that. As we mentioned, the BIA and MedCity have got heavy involvement in that. So thanks for listening. Good luck with your preparations, and get in touch if we can help in any way. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lynn, and thank you also to Adriana and Raffaella for that update. Zeph, if you're happy to allow people attending to unmute themselves, we'll now open up the Q&A. Please do raise your hands and verbally ask questions to our panel. And whilst you do that, I'm going to blatantly abuse Chair's privilege to ask the first question. My question is really to sort of Lynn and to Steve. Go back, speak with yourself just before you're attending your first bio convention. What's the one piece of advice you would give yourself you haven't already covered today?
Wear comfortable shoes.
What?
I cannot overestimate the importance of not wearing heels, especially for the gentlemen who may not be used to it.
Yeah, I think you can end up going all day and all night. So you have to have a plan for what that's like. Most people, as you say, Lynn, go to partner, and you can end up doing that all day, then roll out into either the exhibition or socials and receptions. So making sure you've found the opportunity that you eat before you start drinking would be the good one. But I think it's having that plan. What am I partnering for? Are there any policy seminars I need to step out for? When am I going to the pavilion? And which socials am I going to? And thinking you're going to do that probably solid for 4 days.
So shoes, keeping yourself hydrated, making sure you're okay. Some very good practical tips. So over to the attendees. Any questions for our audience? And we've also got Raffaella and Adriana on the line as well, who can answer questions about the UK Pavilion, the programme, or anything else that you might be interested in, including the support that DBTIs offer to firms looking to export to the US or engage with the Boston environment. Please do raise your hands.
I see one question in the chat from Victoria. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good timing, Adriana. Yeah, it was just repeating what was in the chat really. Just if there's any companies that we know that are attending, is it appropriate or not to invite them to the UK reception, and if so, what's the best way to go about that?
I think for now we're centralizing it through DBT, but I can connect with you offline about this and we can chat a bit more because they might already be on the list as well. But we can connect via email over that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Of course.
Richard?
Yes, will the UK minister be visiting the pavilion as well? The UK pavilion?
So Fella can't answer that one, but I will tell you what the conversation I had with Patrick Vallance yesterday. So Patrick Vallance said to me he was very looking forward to going to BIO, and he's always nervous that he's going to get stuck in the Lords for some ridiculous reason. But Patrick wants to come, and he is delighted and looking forward to being on the stand for the Tuesday evening reception. I know that Hilary and Raffaella will be working him very, very hard across a number of public and private meetings. So he can't guarantee anything until the day, but that's the ambition in Patrick's head as of speaking to him about this yesterday. We've usually ended up having a minister around, and I think we're in a great place to sell a united story about the UK and the opportunities in the UK this year. The strange one for us is that BIO is going to be right off the back of the industrial strategy, potentially the life science sector plan, the spending review from a government perspective. So second week of June is going to be very busy in the UK environment. We'll then take that over to the US. And obviously our US friends are probably less happy about science spending, what's going on with their regulator, state of the markets. Whereas in the UK, we've obviously seen companies, the largest biotech raise in the world this year is Isomorphic Labs, based in the UK. We've got a fantastic intersection of AI and life sciences. Hopefully, we've had the Mansion House Accords looking to put further pension fund money to use in the UK. We've got the manufacturing fund and some really top-end companies investing and supporting in the UK. I look at the new Moderna site in Oxford as an exemplar of that, or you can look at many things around the country, as well as a full sector ecosystem with strength in public sector and in the private sector, which we turn out in force. So I'm glad somebody said we're waving the flag. Actually, everyone's an ambassador in Boston this year. I think we're all looking forward to showing the strength and depth, and I hope that we'll be able to get some language out to everybody, probably only in the days before BIO, because of the fast-moving nature of government things as to what we'll sell as the UK sale, and that's probably why it doesn't make sense to do too much of it now. But we all know the story. The UK is brilliant, and we're the third global cluster, and we're the right people to partner with, and you are part of the strongest delegation coming to the US this summer, and they'd be delighted to work with us. And I'm sure some of them will be a bit sad, and we'll need to pick them up and get them going again, because Boston, I'm told, is not the most happy place at the moment.
Hello, did you want to come in as our question as well?
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. Whenever we have a minister visiting, it can be incredibly challenging just from a logistical perspective to manage everything across a visit. But we'd certainly like to and hope to at some point make contact with the UK Pavilion during that. We can definitely let the UK crowd going out know closer to the date, if and when we can make that magic happen. So thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Hilary. Any further questions? I'm also trying to keep an eye on chat in case things come up.
I think Steve should tell us about the Pearly King, if you don't mind.
So the question is, should I dress up as the Pearly King in order to tell people about London Life Science Week? And I'm looking to my colleagues in America here as to whether this would get lost in translation, or whether they would like a chippy Cockney character as part of the UK vibe.
You should do it.
I think you have your reputation to maintain and should get somebody else to do it.
A Red Sox hat probably wouldn't go far on this, Steve.
Well, I'm afraid they're playing the wrong sport.
Cricket.
I'm going to the Red Sox on the Saturday night. So if anybody is travelling out early, one way to get rid of your jet lag is to go to the Red Sox game. They are at home that weekend. You can usually get tickets if you book them in advance, and many people will go to that. As I say, some people fly in on the Sunday. The trick is, if you're in on the Sunday, go and get your pass on the Sunday, because there's often long queues on the Monday, and you don't want to be stuck in a queue for 2 hours picking up your pass. So that's that. The other thing I'm conscious of is we are hearing some horror stories of people getting stuck at the borders. So make sure everything is in order, and everyone is very polite to everybody as you go through, because there'd be nothing worse than people getting all the way there and then having problems. So make sure your ESTA's done, and you've got plenty of time on your passports and all those things, and no silly jokes in the immigration queue.
Hello.
That's a very good point, Steve. The other thing I was going to say just about the mood music. I mean, Rafaela mentioned we had a very strong showing from the UK, people wanting to come out for bio. I 100% get that it's a weird time to be working in this industry. Lots of different fires being fought on many fronts. But I think what you should expect out of Bio Week is a bit of sort of relief for the industry to get together, to be amongst kind of peers and friends who understand the challenges, understand the opportunities, and are really, really geared up for doing the best work they could possibly do together. So hopefully that's the vibe you will get on arrival in Boston. And certainly there's few places better than Boston in the US to be having bio at this moment in time.
Couldn't agree more, Hilary. Whilst colleagues continue to think of questions, I remember there was an earlier question about inviting companies to the pavilion. So I wanted to ask Rafaela and Adriana, how can people going to the convention make the most of the UK's pavilion?
So, I mean, I do need to clarify that there are meeting points on the UK pavilion, about 10 tables, if memory serves me well. Those meeting points are obviously the ones that you can book online as a co-exhibitor. So those meeting tables are exclusively for the benefit of our co-exhibitors, our partners, the ABPI, and so on. Now, of course, if you come by, and they tend to be very busy, so that's why I say that we wouldn't want, for those of us on the UK Pavilion to not have the opportunity to make use of that space. Of course, we do try and ensure that there is still enough capacity for ad hoc meetings, in which case companies coming to us, if you want to have a sort of more of a sit-down meeting, as I suggested earlier, to book something, then that will happen on, at the meeting table, and we could have a proper conversation. So that's one way of engaging, of course. Other companies have been, there's the program of activities that I've shared. Adriana, do you have any other pointers on that front?
No, just to add, if you do see that the meeting tables are fully booked out and you can't get another meeting table within the bio conference, there also is the Westin that's right nearby, and they have a coffee shop. So in a previous bio, I had done a meeting in a coffee house, which is like a 2-minute walk from the convention center. So that's always an option as well.
Really
to have an overflow strategy.
And get access to readily available caffeine. But no, there's a really good point as Rafaela, and I think also reflects Lynn's advice that it really pays off to be prepared and to approach people who you want to have a conversation with before you get to Boston. Any further? That's also a really good point, Hilary. Any further questions from colleagues either on the chat or you want to ask them verbally?
It's a question to Lynn, really, for me. You talked about bio having a new partnering system. One of the old tricks used to be to make sure that you blocked out the end of the week first if you were going for the first time, to try and concentrate the meetings nearer the beginning of the week, because otherwise you were there. Is that still available on the new system? And is that a trick you would still encourage people to do?
I think so. I haven't been able to access the system myself to test it out, but generally speaking, that is correct. The scheduling doesn't take place straight away. You put in your requests and then the system allocates them later on. And there will be tricks that we don't know about in the back end that they're using. But also in terms of self-care, something that we didn't mention earlier is to make sure that you don't book meetings too early in the morning or too late at night, because you're not going to do good business if you're exhausted, or if you've turned up and somebody else doesn't because they've had a rough night. Be realistic and book your first meeting for 9 in the morning, as you might normally if you were coming to work in the UK.
It's really, really good advice and an excellent question, Steve. Well-timed meetings, always helpful. Cool. That's helpful to know, Rafaela. Okay. I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat or any more hands up in the air. So before I close, I'm going to ask all tell me the one thing that they're the most excited for at BIO. Steve, you want to go first?
I'm excited to see old friends and make new contacts. And as Hilary has said, I think give our American friends a hug and say, come and do more business with us.
Amazing. Lynn?
I'd like to give a shout out to the Scottish contingent. I think, as it has been mentioned in the chat, Edinburgh is a massive hub for cell and gene therapy. And we've got 21 companies that have signed up through us, subsidised by Scottish Development International. Some of them are our members, some of the companies are known to us. They're going to be out in force. I don't think there's whiskey tasting, but there will be some fun to be had with that group.
Rafaela?
The impact. So in my role, I have the opportunity to to stay in touch with past co-exhibitors of the UK Pavilion and alongside the rest of the DBT network, continue supporting them with their leads that they generated at BIO. And so it's really interesting and really fantastic to know, how their participation to BIO alongside our support and those of us all as partners and the wider ecosystem are supporting that. I can't share the figures, but they really are very impressive, and it's really great to see the impact that comes out of the participation that we have. All of us, 200 plus organizations at BIO. So I'm excited for, in 12 months time or so when the deals have happened.
Amazing. And Adriana?
Yeah, DBT has provided me the opportunity to go to many different conferences, but I'd say BIO just has an unparalleled collaborative nature, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Second BIO conference, very excited. And just on a logistical standpoint, if anyone has any questions about transport or that type, I'm more than happy to direct you. Our train system can be a little bit confusing, but if you need any support, please feel free to reach out to me.
It's a very kind offer.
Straightforward.
And Adriana, how would people be able to contact you if they did want to tap into your transport wisdom?
I will put my email in the chat, and then my LinkedIn is also just my name as well. So please feel free to reach out.
Amazing. Thank you. Well, with that, I'll just say then a huge thank you for everyone coming. I'd like to also ask everyone to give a big thank you to our speakers, Steve Bates from BIA, Lynn from Biopartner UK, and of course Rafaela and Adriana from the team at DBT, as well as Hilary's been dutifully contributing in the background. I've been collating some fun web resources. So I really encourage you to do engage the London Life Sciences Week, which is scheduled in November. Check out the Biopartner website to see who's going, and again, prep and plan those meetings accordingly and wear flat shoes. Tap into the excellent advice and support that DBT and the team there have for colleagues looking to export and build business in the US. And of course, do check out our own website, the ABPI, to learn more about our work and the work that our members do and how you can potentially become a member. But with that, I'll say a big thank you. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great rest of the week, and enjoy some of the unseasonably warm weather we're having in the UK.
Thanks for hosting. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you all.
Thanks all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.